Sensational.
Greetings. Okay, Banky, I see you now, so I don't know what this means. Are we live on here? Uh, yeah, it seems
You can
so.
hear me?
Yeah, and it seems like we're live on
All right.
here as well. So it might as
All right.
well we just
Greetings.
say, yeah, greetings to
And
everybody. You know?
yes, and sorry about the little technical difficulties. We're just greatly appreciate the guys tuning in this evening to the Everything Agriculture Show on Real Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Banky, and my other host, Yasan Tafarai, overseas, all in California. Let me say good evening to the folks who tuning in to the sound of my voice in the beautiful Twin Island state, Oli and Liamega. If you're first time listener, that means St. Kitts and Nevis from the colonial masters back then. So appreciate the guys also the neighboring islands, St. Martin and Saba and Stacia, along with the US Virgin Islands and the BVI and the folks over in Montserrat and Antigua and Barbuda, also the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, the whole Windward Islands, Dominica, moving all up to North America from the Florida Keys up to Canada. Appreciate the guys tuning in wherever you're at the sound of my voice. I mean, you could be doing any other thing, but it shows that you have that interest when it comes to the environment and feeding yourself and know that you have something safe. Culture is one purpose is to sustain us. That's all it is. Ain't no other reason for it, but it's our fuel for us to continue living and stuff like that. So we need to leave the place in a better place where we met it and for them to continue because it's all about continuity. So this evening we'll be talking about cannabis and what's going on in the island, also agriculture, general agriculture, and we'll touch a part and 40 acres of food which was destroyed and left to rot. I mean negligence. So and this was going on around the world war, and if anyone can sit and destroy 40 acres of food, it means this is a serious problem. So we're going to talk about that also. We're going to also talk about it's a sad time. I mean, right now in St. Kitts and Nevis, where you have found a young lady went missing for over a week, and we spoke of that this week, and it seemed like the body and stuff like that. So that is very sad. So let me say greetings to those who are already tuning in. Appreciate that. I mean, I know going on right now in St. Kitts is a music festival. Have a lot of people in the island right now. I mean, I've been getting a lot of visitors. My Virginia coming in and jumping in on the farm and stuff like that, surprising me and really enjoying the energy on the farm and stuff like that, and don't want to leave. And yeah, so it's a beautiful thing seeing the Virgin them when they just drop in and stuff like that. How they come off the boat, it's straight to the farm, nothing else. So really appreciate that. Yes, and how you doing?
Yeah, global greetings. It's a pleasure, being here in another edition of Everything Agriculture. It's nice to hear and see a lot of folks returning and seeing a lot of the videos and people showing pictures and so on of, back home and St. Kitts and Nevis, Oli Amiga. So let me just say first, greetings to everybody in Amiga, the entire
Yes, sir.
rest of the entire Eastern Caribbean and around the world, wherever you may be at this time, England, America, China, Japan, Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, wherever you are at this time, whatever you're going through at this time, we have people all over the world, and, every day and every week we see something or some new persons logging in and being a part of the space, and so we give thanks and praises. It's nice to see what's happening in some cases, and it's really a sad time on St. Kitts and Nevis, even though it should be such a festive time for us, as lot is going on. I did get a chance to listen to the press conference this morning with a lot of the artists who are supposed to be performing later on for the music festival, and that's a big thing, a real big thing, and it's really nice to see. Seemingly a lot of people went home and a lot of people booked, especially knowing that after Vibes Cartel being locked up for for 13 years, or almost 13 years, and then to be free and still, stepping up as being deemed as, the quote unquote king of dancehall. There's that debate out there, but at least still holding his space and still command and demand that sort of attention. And so a lot of people would have booked, with the intent and see if not anybody else, Vibes Cartel. And so it's a lot, and it does a lot for the economy when it comes to the music festival, bringing in people. I'm hoping that eventually, some of these festivals that we are seeking to create, though, in relation to like the Mango Fest and the Breadfruit Fest and the Bread Nut Festival that we would have had earlier on today, could eventually get to these kind of levels where instead of just using the entertainment aspect in terms of creating additional revenue, that we can add this agricultural component as well, that can be an additional driving force in terms of being a significant revenue generator and create a serious impact in terms of revenue generation for us, and to really impact our food security. So I'm looking forward to these kinds of initiatives going forward. And as you mentioned earlier, the 40-acre project that you would have started, and seemingly based on some videos and so on that you showed, earlier, um, you know, it's sad to see that after investing so much, and we are at the point where we are seeking to reduce the import bill by at least 25%. That something like that, which could have done that, um, in a significant way, is left in that condition, and even not even really ready to really begin expansion. And so I am really hopeful that we could have see these kinds of changes in the not too distant future.
Well, yes, in 2021, I was placed with the task of taking on a project at Indian Castle because it was been neglected over the years, where on at least maybe about 5 acres of a 40-acre area was being used and stuff like that. So over a whole year, I was asked over from the former PS then, to take it over and come up with a plan and stuff like that. But sometimes, through I've been in the government system at that time for a while, I understand how things works. You see what I mean? So more times, unless I know you're serious, man, taking on a project, and then you make me look like a fool, and then you start telling me this and that and that. So after a while, I end up and told the PS they won't deal with it, because being around in the department, I always spend a lot of time over agro processing. And what I've realized is that I always have the need for a lot of soursop, a lot of passion fruits, dragon fruit, tamarind, a lot of fruits, citrus, because you just never have enough, because they usually supply the hotels, the supermarkets, and still the local community and guava was making guava jam. So they tend to go out and so they usually still purchase from the regular people in the community do these products when they do have it, but the consistency
Right.
is the issue. So I was even within the department, I always tell them they need to have their own area where they can plant to supply themselves, because the estate the estate them don't have it. You see what I mean? When they want looking for mangoes, the same. They have to go on people mango trees when they want to do grafting for chemically mango trees and all this different stuff. But they want to do ear layering for or agriculture open, they have to come. Well, bank you want a layer some lime tree, and then they're gonna give you back a couple of them. Madness, brethren. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're supposed to lead by example as the department. You're supposed to be going around to different people and asking them. You see what I mean? So stuff like that. So I say, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. And then since then, I mean, he told the minister, yeah. So the minister approached me one time at the open day within 2021 the same time, and told me he been asking the PS to. I'm just going through the process so people understand. You see what I mean? How we get to the point
Yes,
coming to on
yes.
the project. Cause all this time I'm doing extension work, basically the whole of Nevis. You see what I mean? It was based from the bypass road all the way to Rollins, and then extended now gone back over to the St. James's, because if somebody fall out and if somebody called me, then I'll still fill in. So when I told the minister, yeah, I told the person going to do it, like he was surprised because I guess he didn't get the message from like a month or two since had passed. So the following Monday, I get a call, say, well, we have a meeting at Indian Castle the Tuesday. So I'm asking, what meeting about what? He said, well, the minister. So then I said, no problem. Then I contact a gentleman, Culture. He at the time was attached to agriculture to deal with the water system. So once I did a culture of the situation, so need to come and let me know. Boom, boom, boom. And so 4 of us meet up, and within 5 minutes, done. You handle it, yeah, minor matters. I'm here to deal with it. Culture water day, any problem? No. Get in contact with the water department, Mr. Roger Hanley. Roger, how is the water system at Indian Castle? Boom, boom, boom. Is it have enough water to make sure if I'm running the full estate, any issue? And after that, yeah, boom, no issue. Can I make sure do my research before I get involved in this thing to make sure when I start, because water
Right.
is key. You see what I mean? And then the fencing was fine. I just had to fix back the solar fence. But when I reached there, it was a shame because I have acacia tree and along with stuff that we call the one with the we make for kite or climate cherry. Yeah, man, 15 feet, 20 feet tall, just overgrown like a pasture. So like up to the front, just and stuff like that. So and with that, I mean, I started the project. I mean, there wasn't any work I really, so I had to handle the situation where I gonna put class with this. So there was some workers that nobody wanted. You see what I mean? The outcasts, nobody wanted them. They wanted to get rid of them, but they weren't dealing with them. They see them as the worst of the worst. Yeah. When me not an issue that me says, give them to me, and that is fine. Because me the worst of the worst too. So I don't correlate. You see what I mean? So it was just the perfect team. Where everybody respect everybody, put the rules in place. And 5 of us was there along with the elder lady. You see what I mean? I use Woodis, DJ Woodis as my supervisor, the foreman in charge if I'm not there and stuff like that to lead the team. And everything went well. We started the project. The thing about it, he had so much material in the one of the the nursery at agriculture department. They didn't know how much stock they had until I started taking out, you know what I mean, the pomegranate trees, the soursop trees by the hundreds. And when I still left stuff in there was weird. I had these in there. You see what I mean? So I was able to do a couple acres of sugar, apple, soursop, you know what I mean, pomegranate and stuff like that. And at the same time, overnight, at least 90 people benefited from that project. You see what I mean? I was able to buy coconut trees from people in the community, mango trees, you see what I mean, golden apple, stuff that people had available. So people had benefited from stuff like that, along with the hardware put in the water system and making everything, fully automated. Because remember, on the south side, it was a big thing going on about this project, yeah, son. I mean, everybody could have remembered that way of speaking and saying that it's a waste of time, nothing can go down there, no avocado, nothing. But I know with science teaches you wherever you see grass, you know the place is fertile along with other shrubs. But on that south side, yes, you always have a nice breeze because it's on the windward side in a sense, but you do not have a sea blast like that will kill your fruit trees and stuff unless there's a storm. We have extra, and well, the sea blast will come up into the mountain also, and so it doesn't matter where you're
Right.
at. But that little, sodium which maybe in the winter time, that will also control your pest. Man, people come from all over. The mountain ten we call him my name, I supposed to be a trillionaire. You understand? Everything was Indian Castle, Indian Castle, Indian Castle. Every quarter we have projects down there. The school use it as the SB and science areas and stuff like that. So we had a compost area. Just sustainable agriculture where first time we had a 40-acre farmer just fully automated in a sense like that, where everything and then still producing crops like sorrel, winter squash, watermelons, cassavas, different varieties, just and bananas, planting just so much. You see what I mean? Till the mango festival started keeping down there. But present time, then I leave, handed over, make sure the place handed over like scratch. To Woodies, and then the minister handpick who he wanted. and everything just gone down the drain within 30 days. And after we're just getting worse. Coconut trees dying, over 400 sugar apple trees have died, over 35 shadow trees, avocado trees. I mean, banana trees. It's just a shame. So I already call out the premier himself, because that is right hand man, which is the deputy premier. And if you can work in agriculture for over 30, 35, 40 years and failing this bad and neglecting 40 acres of food, do you hear anyone within the government speak of Indian Castle? Do you hear of any food coming out of Indian Castle for the last two open day? Even one OBS? Anything? Nothing. So how can this situation going on for so long where no one in the department can tell the manager at Indian Castle what he's doing is wrong, because he only answers to the minister? I mean, this is very sad, and to see the cabinet sitting down, because the whole cabinet benefited from Indian Castle. This is because it is a food bank that I had created, not for myself, but for everyone to enjoy and know, and at the same time to prove to the people of Nevis you don't have one bad ounce of land. So where people want to put hotel, where hotel now plant food trees the same way. So how the land is good to put hotel there, but it's not good to do farming? You don't realize all of your beachfront properties, everybody want to put hotels, but you, the locals, don't have the opportunity to live on the beachfront. The only beachfront basically where people live is something like in over in Castle, around the area there in Low Street. But you see what I mean? Oh, we have been fooled to leave our beachfront and turn it over to those who come in, because it's not. And those are the high end properties. I mean, the whole island is high end. You understand? It's a place that is untouched. So why we have been fooled and letting our own people, who we chose to say, oh, they're the brightest of the brightest, but yes, making this the most dumbest mistake by giving away the country. And you see all these government do it. It doesn't matter which one. All of them do the same thing. And these are who we want to let our children look up to. They not do no work, because the civil service is set up where the technocrats, people like me, is who will give the information to the PS, and the PS will just do the write-up more times. You understand? And the minister will just talk about it. You know, do no work. You know, got nothing to do the work. So you can put a dog, a cat, a lizard to be the premier or anything. And once they listen, but they don't listen. You see, they are so petty. I mean, I could have been within the department still, but I mean, after a while, I'm the kind of person, you know, I give them a whole year, because I didn't ask nobody for the position, you know, Yason. I was called to a meeting because for 3 years I haven't get any increment. I'm supposed to get increments every 3 years, and human
So
resources
okay,
prior
question.
to that.
I hear
Yes,
question. I hear you. I hear you just said that you just clarified that you're another part of the ministry, another part of the government, and so on. No, but let's say, for example, that they're supposed to reach out to you to take up the project as a contract now. Would you be
yes,
willing? Because what I'm looking at is the fact that, okay, um, it is something that needs to be done. It is something that the island need, and I would not stop saying need, 'cause I can't say want, because it's not a want right now. It is a need. Um,
yes.
okay, so you answered that. So you will take it up. So okay, I just wanted to
Yes,
make that
son.
clear
I
because
sat. Let me go back. A month after I'd sent in my thing that I'm gonna leave the ministry and stuff like that, and the government himself, and set my meditation, do my own thing. A month before I left, the minister called me to his office. You understand? To sit with me and talk to me. I want to know the reason, which he don't know the reason, but he just want at least. He said, "You call me," but I mean, at least he called me. But I go because I want to see what you guys tell me. You understand? So it was a light moment
right.
from good moment. So he's then after me, then he telling me, well, I believe in experience, and that is people should be paid for the experience. Me more qualified than he, way more qualified than he's the minister. I remember that. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
More people inside, remember those with the PhD, and the way they're saying, don't they're going to fail, a waste of time. Those with the masters within the department and bachelors, bad minded, you understand the project, undermining the project, You see what I mean? So me
Mm-hmm.
know who take on the project, getting lecture, even my own. department and the people I work around, but I'm not bothered by stuff like that because people don't understand. I like fight because fight is my kryptonite. Because once you fight me gonna just keep shining in a bridge. So me's the worst person to fight, cause me now fail. Once me take on a project, failure do not exist because it's not like I depending on somebody to give me the information. You see what I mean? I'm the technical person. I know how to do everything. So you're not gonna be about it.
In terms of the
Me
project,
committed.
yes.
I tell the project, me committed. You see what I mean? That's not an issue. So speaking negative is just more kryptonite. It's like the sun to me. So me love that because then when everything
Mm.
start progress, you're gonna let them in one warm it and roll up and lick up, and then your children are gonna be calling my name in your house, and your wife gonna be calling me, and all you're gonna hear in your house is my name. That's all I'm gonna hear every day, and that's exactly what I did. You see? So it better to keep quiet. But no, back on the bandwagon, the minister still then offer me the same position. I tell him I don't want the position. You understand? I'm fine. I already made up my mind, but he can give. I'm willing to take a contract because this time now they want me to do the second phase, which is an next 60 acres. The land that clean. I'm not gonna take
Mm-hmm.
management of 100 acres of land. You understand? And don't know my word. I know my word. I don't care who have PhDs and them thing don't happen to me. I made the hands and my ancestors. I may build the pyramid. I may build the Island churches around here, so the Methodist Church, the Anglican Church. I may build them, yes or no, you build them. Is we build them. And we never got
Mm-hmm.
all these degrees that was put. So I'm not take all the nonsense. I'm not worried about stuff like that. You understand? I grew up in an environment where my uncles, them are tradesmen and fishermen and farmers and butchers working for themselves. You see what I mean? And pass on these skill sets. So these are how man grew up in it. And my uncle cousin put here at contractor and Ellerton and my uncle Sam a mechanic. So all these skill set we are on, which is and Kingsley a fisherman and make pattern and men net and that kind of something. So these are things you grew up learning. So I tell him this is what I want, and really, and that's what it. So he know I'm up to a contract. I'm just about. You see, we don't use this term within the civil service about protocols and all this nonsense. But it's all crap. There ain't no protocol. What we have in within the civil service is just people just being personal and petty when it comes to they know your family is blue or your family is this and that. People just think things personal. And then when you're doing work and dedicated to stuff within the system, those who are not doing any work, you're making it look bad. So then they're mad at you for doing your work where they're just skylarking and they're doing nothing. And then the farmers them seeing one person and the others not committing to their work to check for the farmers. So it's stuff like that. People just take mad with you on doing their work, and then now they take on the work that you left there. They can't do the work because the commitment is there. You see, so it's just sad to see that the premier himself, who spoke about that every minute is Indian Castle in every one of them. Even on the other radio show where you have the minister of communication, they don't speak about Indian Castle on that radio station. You see what I mean? They don't. No one of them speak. It's like the place don't exist. You see, because of how everyone within the department is ashamed of the state at Indian Castle. And the schools and everyone need to take a drive down there. Prior to that, I mean, some Caucasian had put out, I think, some information about the neglect of the dogs and the area, how it's abandoned and stuff like that. And then they had to go and get the dogs, the veterinarian and them, and all this craziness. Even the dogs, them ill-treated. The whole place is just practically people showing up to work, ain't working in the week, but then the week they're doing overtime. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. How can you have people not straight up to work in the week, doing what they want, and then you put them to work on the weekend to make double time? I mean, what is this? And then you're not even being there. When I'm at that project, I open the gate and I close the gate. You see what I mean? There is no weak link. Everybody get along, and now everything is just gone to pot. So it just shows.
But Banky,
I
okay,
mean,
I
yes,
I'm listening to you, right? I'm listening to you, and I am just here thinking, like, as I listen to you, we have a serious problem with food security and St. Kitts and Nevis throughout the region. The
yes,
entire CARICOM would have decided that, look, we have to push for this 25 by 25 agenda. That would have been like in 2020. We really need to seek to reduce our import bill by at least 25%. Okay, here is Nevis jumping on board, and they even jumped on board nearly prior to that, because what year you started that project?
2021 April, after Easter.
April 2021. Okay. So this
Yeah,
would have
and was
been
at the
like,
open day
like
the following year in 2022, and continues in all the open day
so
after since, producing.
That would have been like a kind of COVID impact then, right? So to speak. So here is it that you have this initiative that popped up and was such a success that the impacts nationally were shown, and even regionally, because I would have seen regional articles that spoke to that specific location and that specific farm and that specific model, and how important and how significant and how impactful it is for the agricultural industry, and how other Caribbean countries should have started to take on that model and that approach. And then now to listen to all that, seeing the significance, recognizing the significance, and then to allow it to get to what it is now. And we are still supposed to be meeting this 2025. However, the goalposts have shifted, and it's now shifted to 2030. And seemingly, there is no quest and push again to really meet this 25 by 25 agenda. So, I mean, I really don't know. I'm hopeful though. We could see significant changes, like that
Yeah.
could
Yes,
really be
son.
reactivated, and the phase 2 can really be activated.
Which one? Which phase?
The phase two also can also
Phase two
get
ain't gonna
going. I'm
start.
hopeful.
I can bet you a dollar that would not be done. The ministry can't handle
Well,
phase two.
maybe not this year, but I'm saying at least they should
Never.
begin
The
reactivate
ministry don't
phase
have
2.
the ministry do not have no one that they have committed to do phase
I
2.
tell you,
There's a whole
you see, we
team of
can't
nearly
say no. Listen,
no. Yes,
listen. I
son.
told you.
There's a team
Hold
right
on.
now,
I
right?
told you.
Within
Wait,
sync
I
it.
told you.
Because
I told you. I'm
go
coming
ahead.
back. I'm coming back, and we are going to approach the minister, and the minister is going to work. You're going to get it as a contract. You understand? So it is
Really?
going to happen. Yeah,
Then I go
it
work.
is going to happen.
The
Anyway,
minister
the
of
guy
culture
said you were saying
pride.
now. You were saying
There's a
about
whole
the team
team within.
now.
There's a team over in sync it's the other side. Within an environment, there are even grants attached to this project. Also, there are even a team here in Nevis with environment and physical. All kind of people, directors and all kind of something. Even the right now manager of Indian Castle is a part of that team. And how funny is that? The one who mash up the first one is a part of the team to do the second phase. You can't make up them things, brethren. You see what I mean? A matter of fact, the same team, some of the same team went to St. Lucia on a trip a couple months ago. You see what I mean? So funding is there. Go Galavan. Imagine you have somebody fail and you put them carry on a trip. You see what I mean? I can tell you, I can put up one of a piece of land. You understand? A quarter acre. And they can put up the one. I must win. They cannot do it. They cannot do it, your son. They're not gonna do it. I can tell you what, they might clean it and they could fence it, but I know they ain't gonna do it. They probably give it to some farmers or whoever and whoever. Because they can't do it. That's just the reality, my brethren. I know what mean about talking, you know. A lot of people don't talk because they got tongue in the head. I tell you, you have an event went in sync about the environment at the Marriott, you know. So I think it was the Marriott, I'm starting to be corrected. Over 600 people attended that thing, you know. He tell you the man say, you all have a lot of good ideas and great ideas, but you guys talk things to death. We just like to talk. Yeah, son, my coconut trees at Shabazz by Mansa last stop. Next year, someone gonna get on coconut, you know. You understand? They're gonna get on jelly. You see? And surpass Indian Castle in less than 2 years. Coconut trees be within 18 months. and those at Indian Castle, I get them to be within 16 months. Guarantee next year summer, I will have an coconut jelly on some of the trees. Me guarantee everything me do, you know. Because me understand when you take care of things about management. You see what I mean? And they with them
Right.
within the department know how I am about to. This I work with all the schools, practically all the schools, St. Thomas's, St. James's, Gingerland, wherever Mad Cross, wherever you're at. That is something I believe in. Prospect, that in Charleston Prairie, I believe in getting each school, the preschool at Ginger Police Station, the one up with EPPS. You realize they're calling all these schools, right? And the island,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that? Me not the only extension officer because people don't have the interest in dealing with the youth and them with the school. They will be there to tell you about the schools and them. It's me to go there when people call me make me go, Bridget. I go. You see what I mean? It doesn't matter if I'm
But
based in one
Banky,
area. That is the interest. Everybody don't have
you
that interest, me Bridget.
and I am totally aware of that. You're speaking to the choir because remember I was in the education system as well, and I know when it comes to
Yes. And
agriculture,
the high school,
there's a lot of people.
yes.
Yes, a lot of people still just see agriculture as a subject that they teach from a book, and they just try to teach
Yes.
the theory of it, and that's one of the setbacks that we have in terms of our system. From even there is some issues because if you're really serious about agriculture, you would want to be able to make sure that the students have access to all of the different areas and aspects so that they can choose. So you should be able to have a proper lab for them to, do when it
Yes.
comes to the animal side, be able to, slaughter fowls and, slaughter animals and look at them and check to see what
Mm-hmm.
kind of pests and then pests and, and all of these different kind of things. Out of the practical, they have to be able to identify parts of a bird. And that is why they
Yes.
would have to go to St. Kitts to use the St. Kitts and Nevis agricultural farm setup that they have over there because they're set up in that way that they have that capacity to do that there. They slaughter birds, they have their own chickens going, they have animals going there, and they have a school farm that is set up that all of the schools on the island, the high schools, are able to go there
Mm-hmm.
and do their practicals out there and so on. So what we would have had to do from the Navy's end in order to get our practicals completed, we had to make trips and
Go.
organize to go to St. Kitts, catch a school bus, go up to the school farm, do the practicals, see them, but a lot of this prior to that, all they would have gotten would have been the practical side, seeing the picture of the bird and so on. Or in my case, I would have started to um, get them to visit some of the local farms on the island. So I remember I took them to
Yes.
the egg farm and found in the by get to the top
Gumsy.
of Kate,
Tyson.
Gumsy, yeah,
Tyson.
Tyson.
Yes.
Um, and then we used to use the land because remember at where the sixth farm is right now, where they built the sixth piece and used to be culture. It's only a little piece of it that get left back. I mean, if you remember when we were in fifth farm, that's where we
Ah,
used
there
to
was a
do
big
the
piece of land.
agriculture. Yeah, that
Yes,
big piece
yes, a
of
big
land
piece of
behind you.
land.
So
Yes,
where the sixth farm is
of
now,
course.
that piece of
Yes,
land was the farmland for the school. And just to show you,
yes, yes,
this kind of
yes,
shows you
of course.
how they don't value agriculture. Eventually, they put in the greenhouse,
Yes,
which I work with there in that space. But we used to use Dr. Glenville Liebert had a piece of land
still
up
there. Up
Hamilton,
Hamilton area. Yes, yes, Hamilton still
yeah, to the
there.
top of Hamilton there, yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
then we used to use Emontine, over there by Prospect there.
Prospect. Yes.
I used to take the students over there, and that's how we used to do some of the practical work. We was having to go to St. Kitts to do. But like I'm saying, if you don't have teachers with that sort of interest and initiative, to be able to push the students and really give them that practical experience, I mean, you're falling behind, and that is one of the reasons why we are still so far back because agriculture is not necessarily given the level of seriousness that should have been given and should be given to the subject, even up until this point. Um, and I don't know what it really gonna take, Banky, for leadership. And this is not just a criticism of the leadership of St. Kitts and Nevis, because it is a criticism of many of the leadership within the region. The only
Yes,
quote
I.
unquote difference I'm seeing right now is with the leader of Guyana, who has sought to invest significantly in agriculture and seeing the seriousness of, food security. Guyana has been designated as one of the only places in the world that is growing enough food to sustain themselves. And that is we ain't say in the region, we say in
Yes.
the world. And when we look at some of the reasons why Guyana, a Caribbean island, a Caribbean country, have that position, let's look at their budget and let's see how much that would have invested in agriculture and compare that with
Yes.
what we're seeing in terms of budget allocations, agriculture in some of these other regions that are having problems. And we look at our leadership and look at how, and we're gonna roll into the cannabis side too, because here is it. They have been ignoring agriculture, trying to push agriculture at the bottom. When we look at our history, it is shown that agriculture is what even those who colonized us and enslaved our folk, the people before us and so on, it's agriculture they used to build the economy. It is upon the backs of our people they were able to use the cotton, the sugar, the cocoa, the tobacco, all of these things they grew, and then they created the value added products and then sell it back to us at some exorbitant prices, and then tell us that we could grow these things, but don't bother invest any money in the machinery to develop the value added. And so a lot of our leadership sort of push down that, jump into the tourism, and then also jump into the CBI thing. And this is what they see as means of getting a quick buck, but not necessarily seeking to empower us as giving us that opportunity to own the lands, occupy the lands, improve upon our agro industry so that we are at the point now where we could create our own value added products and don't have to depend on so much of these outside products that, even though we may process ours based on our methodologies and the ingredients that we are using, would and might be so much different, and the level of processing might be so different as well, that at the end of the day it might still be a lot more healthy for us versus a lot of these kind of chemicals sometimes that only later on you hear such and such product was recalled or is recalled. And by the time it is recalled and you start to think about the amount of people that would have consumed that product or that product, and then you start to hear about some of these weird illnesses and ailments and so on that come out. And so it comes down to the how serious we are about our food. And when I was talking about the cannabis now, is here is it that agriculture create that opportunity for us to stimulate another means of diversifying the economy. And then plus putting cannabis under the umbrella of agriculture, even though in Sinkis and Nevis case is only the medical side of it, um, you find that creates another opportunity for significant revenue generation. But yet they still don't want to empower the people to push that industry, because the main aspects of it that can benefit the people are being ignored, totally ignored on both sides. Because on the St. Kitts side, we're not hearing anything from the ecclesiastic minister, the minister of ecclesiastic affairs, and that aspect deal with the areas that are more fundamental to our people. The recreational or personal use and the spiritual or religious aspect of the cannabis. And those two areas are under the ecclesiastic affairs. And We are not hearing anything from that minister, and our people are not agitating either. We are duped into this focusing on medical cannabis and medicinal cannabis thing, where the government is only mainly seemingly focused on generating money from that side, because they know that a lot of our people are not in a position to benefit. And even if we're supposed to farm corporations, as they're suggesting, and commerce groups and so on, we don't have the kind of money to face the kind of
Yeah, well, yes,
the
son.
kind of
But
yes, I
but if you let me trickle back with Indian Castle at the same time. What need to happen right now, as I spoke to a few people within the department who is very disappointed. They need to shut down Indian Castle at this present time and regroup, because you cannot have people showing up to work. A manager don't have that interest. A minister knows he had handpicked his best friend, put him there, who had the words to say about the project. I know he's gonna fail. So I mean, this thing is planned. They're just doing this, willing to mash up Indian Castle because of Mr. Jeffers. Because Mr. Jeffers is the one who moved the same
what kind of
one from
allegations?
there.
What kind
This
of
is
allegations you
personal.
making here?
This is not an allegation, nothing. Me tell you what it is. This is personal against Mr. Jeffers. But he can't talk. You see?
But that don't
He
make
knows it's a
sense.
willful act
But
against him.
Banky,
Yes, it
I
makes
have to say it's
sense. It makes
allegations.
sense. No, that was your say.
Wait.
Remember, me in this
Hold
mix,
on.
so me not allege nothing, But Jeffers, you hear Jeffers
Hear
attack?
what I am saying. When you're talking, you say what you're saying. I am saying that EA makes
Yeah,
sense because
it makes sense because it's
Mr.
personal. Yes,
Jeffers,
son.
Mr.
It
Jeffers
is
is still a part of the
personal.
same party, so that
Yeah, but
it don't make
no.
sense to me.
Yes, it is
So
personal
for me, it is
because when
allegation. So I hear you.
let me tell you this.
I don't think
Just listen. Let me talk.
I am telling you, for me, it's allegation
Yes, that's
because EA
fine.
makes it. So okay, I hear you. Continue.
Well, me not allegate. This is an allegation. Me talk facts. You see, me try to show you. So you can see the allegation thing. Me not about the part there.
Uh-huh.
You see, because once I took over the project, the yet manager, because you see, me and the manager, all we get along fine, We have there's nothing, so we all get along fine. But I'm just talking about, but you're not being professional. So how you gonna mash up food and you and me not gonna talk about it? It's nothing personal. That's that we all get along good. Nothing is wrong with it. So he could not go down there. You see, he was just told not to go down there. Because down there, mash up everything on the door. So where you gonna look for? So once he was down there, he never come down there, your son. All the guy do is undermine. You see what I mean? So
But
it's personal.
why I'm saying that don't make sense is because I am listening to you, but like
Remember,
this thing
is the
run.
minister best friend,
Even though you're saying it's
You heard
personal,
the minister
Banky.
friend.
Wait, hold on. Even though you're
What?
saying this is personal, even though you're saying this is
Okay.
personal, what you're talking
Yes.
about is the entire nation in your hand, because the 40-acre project
Okay.
represents a serious contribution in terms of the reduction of food security, of sustaining the nation. So for
You
you
just
to
see the
be
premier
playing
say he gonna send
personal games, for you to be
send
playing
back one
personal
coconut
games with
water. Right? And Indian Castle are dead. that was a funny speech to be kind. Indian Castle are dead, he can't talk about he's let's say go upstairs and talk about Navy's got over 5 tons coconut cheese plant. When them are dead and they neglected. You can't get one green coconut plant after the tree jelly. Everything dry up. And then them are dead. So how the premier, and he knows that. So these things are just games, my brethren. You see? So everybody just playing games. Because the premier, when did you hear the premier speak about Indian Castle? Or the minister himself? Or any one of them in cabinet? Or the director in agriculture? Or the peers? Nobody could talk about Indian Castle. Open then the Mango Festival even going back down there. The Mango Festival going over by your Brenta on the Friday. You see? From since I left, only one over in case by my cousin Rodney place where he had a nursery and he have a restaurant and the property right just before Cliff Dollars there. So we had it in there.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
yeah, I know it is. Yeah, I know it is. Yes.
You see what I mean? When you carry people along the flat for embarrassment? Nah. Make no sense. You just because you
So
make no
what you're
sense.
saying, Mango Festival is not going to be held down there?
No. You make no sense. So again, but you Brent to the Friday and then the Sunday at the park. Usually, when I was down there, they kept a few times when I was there. You see what I mean? But after I'd left, you only kept one more time. But after, and then that's it. They not, no, they can't. They did last year, but this year, then I got down there. You know, in a sense, for what? Keep it other places. You understand? You can't be in an environment
But
where Four Seasons always down there, the guests come down there, and you're
you're,
embarrassing everybody. You embarrass the whole nation.
you're in a position to share the videos them tonight?
No, they ain't upload. No, we have to do that next
Oh, okay.
time.
Okay.
Yes. I want to
Because
get better videos. Cause my phone it was kind of dark, and plus I want to get better videos. You know what I mean? This ain't the best. You can go late in the afternoon time, but they can show still. But I'll have to upload them and show them.
right. I was
Yes.
just saying that it would have been better, seeing that we're talking about it for people to get a better perspective, because I know a lot of people who listen to you and listen to us, because remember, we would have been on the ear now for about 4 going to 5 years now, and you would have been on the ear when you were down there, and so we used to hear all of the praises and accolades and so on, to the point
Of
where
course.
people used to even want to label it as your farm, you know what I mean? They say Banky
Yes.
farm. Even me and everybody, that's what everybody used to, used to always come, say, hey, Banky farm. It's, you know what I mean, the Indian Castle Orchard and all that. But
Yeah, but
I'm
once
just
they
pointing
Google
out
it,
how,
they'll find anything about it. I mean, once they Google it, they'll find anything about it, the project and stuff like that from the ambassador Michael Lynn and all those who visited the orchard from you see what I mean Antigua and Tobago and Saint Martin, Tortola, whatever, all neighboring islands. I mean, it's something that St. Kitts, I mean, the minister from St. Kitts came up. I mean, the consortium, everybody, that's why you see the consortium also went into moving to in future production because as if they come to 20, because they realized what I was doing at Indian Castle. So they started the development of banana and all this different stuff because they realized you got to plant big. So all this came out of Indian Castle for when they had the collaboration with St. Kitts and Nevis. Indian Castle is what they use, the department
because,
use and the
well, that's
ministers
the
them
idea. It's
use.
supposed to be a demo model. It's supposed to be
That's
a
what it
demo
is.
model to
That's
show
the whole point.
what,
Yes.
you can do. And it should be able to open up the eyes of
Yes.
those who are thinking and show, well, hey, well, if this can happen, well, I can do this over here too, and I can do that over
Yes.
here too. And so
Yes.
that is one of the reasons why it is so disappointing that it is the way it is today. And so, as point, and this is why I'm asking all of these questions, because for me, it has nothing to do with, personalities, the persons. It has to do with the fact that here is a
You gotta do
project
it. Yeah.
that
You
is
gotta do it Zook.
needed.
You gotta do it Zook.
Well,
The way I
for
Zook under
me,
that.
this is what I am seeing. Here's what I'm seeing: a project that is needed. We are spending over $200 million, around $200 million annually on our food import bill. That is
Yes.
$200 million that the taxpayers and between taxpayers, business people, and whoever else taking up to import food to bring in to feed us. Here is it that you have a project that, with the success that you are having with it, and if it was continued in that vein up to this point, I'm sure we might have been saving, even if not the 25%, let's say even if you save $10 million every year or $5 million every year out of that project, that's a bigger significant gap as well. And then it would have put that into the position to show then, okay, if that 40 working, then this is where the second phase now would have been able now to come and now match that. So then in the next year, 2 years now, you would have reached to that point now because you're getting 10 over here. So then you would have been saving, that you might have really get close to that 25% and maybe even more. And so to watch that and destroy that, allow it to be destroyed, what is that really saying? How do we really look at the people who we are paying to ensure that we are alive? Because this is like a kind of direct, I mean, murder when you look at it, because you're looking to kill your people, because your people they done can't feed themselves. They got to spend $200 million in order to feed themselves. And you set up a project that could help them. And then no, but that's like killing yourself because you're done a dead and you get a chance to get a little breathalyzer and you kill yourself. No man, Banky. I
That's on
mean,
the place was well used. When school go out, the Ministry of Education will bring down tents and DJs, and that's where the teachers them had the funding. Everybody use the place. Every quarter we'll have a family funding and activities. We use string band from different places, and different DJs get a chance to play bouncing castle. You see what I mean? Different people in the community get time to get stuff rented to use, and golf carts get rented to take tours. Beautiful. Everybody know the place. You see what I mean? Nobody feel good about this project, what is happening down there. But and you see, as I said, then we're gonna move forward. After this, we'll move forward from this, and then Carolina always come back at it. Both sides, the green side, boy, you make NRP look bad. I mean, I understand, vex with me. Right? Me to be working up. Be thinking about food, security of food bank, them they play politics. Then the blue side, boy, you're making us look good, boy. We'll now move. We'll never lose again. Yeah, man, you are with team. And what team, my brethren? It's just to show you how these people are so consumed and not seeing beyond. You're saving them from themselves, from the ignorance, by setting up. I'm the only one on my team who have the confidence in me and the peers that this thing could work, Nobody else got the confidence in me, You understand? And people who know me like that. You see what I mean? But the others, nah. Them who got the diploma and this and that. But back to the cannabis. You see what I mean? I don't have to go see for myself in the cars.
Before we go to the cannabis, right? Here's what I want to say, right? Because as you mentioned, I don't really want to talking about it because I know that we can offer the solutions, right? We have the solutions, and
But
I
them
am
know the
working on a
solution, yes,
plan.
son. But them know me have no problem.
But-
They just give me a call. That is the problem,
So
But it's
here's
an issue.
and that's why I'm saying, we're gonna fix it because, like I tell you, I'm gonna
Yes, so
come
they want it
home.
fixed. They don't even fix the long tail. They don't want it fixed. They want it mashed
No,
up.
it's
What are
gonna
you talking about?
no. Okay, so hold on. So it's not about them. Me ain't gonna be doing it for them. Me gonna be doing it because it is what we need to do for the survival of our future generation. You got family there, I got family
Them
there,
man don't want
and we're
that.
gonna be doing it
Them
for
man don't
our
want that,
Jamaican.
virgin.
No, so we ain't dealing with all I want from them, Banky. All we would want from them is, as the people and we say, the blessing. We're gonna
You're
do
living
what
a
we
la
need
la
to do. We're
land.
gonna do what we need to do, and all we
You're
need is
living a
the
la la
blessing, and we
land.
continue to do what we need to do. No, man, we're gonna make it happen. Anyway, let's move to the cannabis now. I trust me. As long as you're gonna give me 100%, and I feel like you give me 100%, it's gonna happen. So just walk with me.
Them man have no interest. The premier,
Walk
all
with
them
me.
made the easiest person,
Walk
made
with
the
me.
easiest person to you. Okay?
Walk with
Made the
me.
easiest person
Walk
to
with
you.
me. Walk with me. Let's go. What you were saying about the cannabis now?
This is same minister we have to deal with again, You realize everything. This minister is in everything, You see? Same minister again we have to be talking about. You see? Like cannabis.
And
It can't be.
failure again, because
We can't.
absolutely have
Same
said
minister.
nothing in relation to cannabis and Nevis. So okay,
Eh?
yes, I
I
mean,
mean,
because
this is madness. I had a display at the 2023 Agriculture Open Day, which was the people just come there for that. So this year now, since I wasn't there, people walk back out the park. People just come there for the cannabis section. They didn't even bother coming there. So they called it even like a last day when I was there. Because people come from jump on the boat from sink it, just come up just for that. You see what I mean? Just for that. The impact that he had. Now the impact dropped off big time because what supposed should have happened this time now? You see how the police they get involved. Oh, you can get 5 joints? And them a laugh it up because it's a joke, me brethren. So you see people in position in the green and playing prestigious, but then they're having this thing as a joke. How can something be a joke when your government moving towards the industry and them now turning the music festival into like a 420 vibes? So like everybody now could have a whatever, but you only have 5 joints. Well, them place and they keep the show so because they have 1 joint and all. You understand? But the last time, because suppose say we be 2 ounce per minute, me not forget in there. You see what I mean? So at them place, so you need to get your place. You go tell you, well, we only want one joint in the community club. So at them thing, me not vex with them. But it just show you, but you just still pull up people trees in a Craddock Road this week and pull up people trees in a Sinkit. So you see how the system laughing after the people because they want to accommodate them who coming from outside to have a good time. They not do these things for us in the
Hold on,
virgin.
Banky. Hold on, Banky. Hold on a little bit.
Oh,
And this is one of the reasons why I just said a bit of what I said, in the sense that seemingly we, the masses, have a problem. We have a problem because here is it that this 5 joint accommodation thing that they talk about for the music fest, and I understand that concept where it's a public place, but it is managed by the government, and so they can stipulate how much and whatever they want coming into their place, and I understand that aspect of it. But however, even the 56 grams that you should be able to have on you, in terms of the regulation with that, they have not put that in place. And the minister responsible for that, just like the minister and dealing with the medicinal, have not said about cannabis in St. Kitts the same way when it comes to recreational or personal use and spiritual or religious use of cannabis. The minister responsible for that is the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. Can you tell me any time that you have ever heard, or anybody who is listening to us at this point, can you tell me any time that you have ever heard the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley say anything about cannabis on St. Kitts and Nevis other than when they had the opening of the Medical Cannabis Authority where he had to make a speech? We have not heard anything, and here's the problem. I don't have a problem with him, so to speak, The same way I don't have a problem so much with Mr. Evelyn in Nevis. Why I'm saying this is because it is up to the people to agitate. It is up to you are paying these ministers, and if these ministers are being paid and they're not doing what they're being paid to do, and you all are not agitating, then that means they feel like it is cool for them to do it and it's comfortable and they continue to do it. If you allow them to do it and don't hold them accountable, then you're just as culpable with them. And that's how I am seeing it. Because up to now, here is it. Okay, this is the second music festival I'm thinking where a 420 space was provided. Since then, we had a Culturama. Since then, we had a Mango Fest. We have Breadfruit Fest. We have any 420 space in any one of them? The people are arguing for, and Culturama coming again. You are going to have 420 space in there? Are you all agitating for that? So if you all are not agitating and you all are not holding them accountable, why should they get up and do it?
But who in charge of Culturama?
The same minister. That's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is you all in agitating. You all in agitating. So the minister feel like, well, okay, I don't want to do this anyway. But nobody really pushing and saying no. So they ain't gonna go to the
minister come by a tent that having cannabis trees, live cannabis trees, and step outside the tent and take one step, half a step inside and ball out the high like a kite and run your life. And you want in the man to be in a space where people are born chalice and split for that kind of stuff. The man dead.
So then, Banky, if that is the case, then the cabinets, and I have to say cabinets because it is happening on St. Kitts as well. Because if the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley don't want to deal with cannabis, then let the cabinet decide that they will shift that to some other ministry and give it to some minister who want to deal with it. And if the Honorable Evelyn don't want to deal with cannabis, which is under his ministry, then it needs to be shifted, and we need to agitate for these things. Otherwise, we are just going to be grumbling, and I guess that is why maybe the Premier could always say ignore the noise, because at the end of the day,
you hear me keep saying all the time, the Premier needs to take away the Ministry of Agriculture and Department from this particular minister. You hear me say so over and over all the time.
But only you want to say
Well,
so. That's the
yeah,
point.
right. But the farmers then feel the same, but they just not talk. That's the problem we have here. The farmers and everyone feel the
So,
same way, even though within the
so that
department
is
feel
why.
the same way. You
So
see?
that is
And they
why I
not
am
talk.
saying, Banky, and that is why I'm saying I blame the people. That's
Yes,
what I'm saying.
of
My
course.
argument is me ain't got a problem with the politicians, so to speak, because they're doing what they are allowed to do and what the people are
I don't
allowing them to
realize,
do.
you know,
Till the people
around
get that
here
kind of mentality.
we promote failures. We love failure. We promote failures within the government and I was told also by more than one peers that we promote failures. When you see someone come and thriving, they don't like that because you're making those who not perform look bad. And I hear it many times within the system from different people. It's don't tell you you're too fast. It's a lot hunger. You do too much. Yes. People rather show up to work and do nothing and go back home and get paid in a virgin. That is how the civil service is. Some
because
people just don't even show up
it
to work at
is
all.
because it is continued and it is allowed. It is allowed. If it wasn't allowed, it wouldn't continue. If you all used to be accountable, because this is what happened in Banky, the population need to realize the reverse psychological games that are being played on them. I can't say us because they ain't playing a game on me right now. That's what I am able to speak up and say, y'all need to realize this. They are being paid by you. You are the taxpayers. You are their bosses. They have found a way to make you feel like they are your bosses and have you functioning accordingly. And as a result, you function as an employee looking up to a boss who you're afraid to talk to or who you're afraid to even address when you see them doing foolishness because you afraid they do this or you afraid they do that. When the reality is, it is the other way around. They work for you. You should be holding them accountable. You should be making them consult with you before they even go and do certain things on behalf of you. But these things have become the norm. Going and saying, okay, well, we're going to build a road over here. We're going to just build this thing over here. And never had any consultation with you. Never asked you, well, how you think this would benefit the community? How do you think this is going to happen? How do you think, what are your views and opinions and so on? We don't have that level of consultation. They get up and just do these things. And then if they fail, and when they fail, you sit back and you say nothing. When there's a project that started maybe, and you could see maybe there is all political gimmicks because it start maybe a year and a half before election, and then it just, when election done, it shut off, nothing happen again. Until the next election, maybe they start to do something again. And you see these things, but if you sit back and you say nothing and you don't say, hey, partner, even though I voting for you, I support you, and I see you do this foolishness, it ain't personal, but you're affecting the nation. We as a people ain't at that level of maturity. We ain't there. Because as I speak right now, and I speak of these issues, if I am supposed to be in Nevis tomorrow, and I meet the minister, I meet Mr. Bandley, I meet whoever in power right now, we would have, for me, we would have a wonderful conversation because I have nothing personal against them. But if we are
Of
supposed to
course.
speak on these issues that we are talking on, I will give them the same views and opinions that I'm sharing right now. And it's just
Yes.
professionalism.
I'd
So,
run through the
you know
comments
what I
and
mean?
then we
But,
can,
but
when you're done.
yeah, but it's
When you
just that
finish.
level. And our people need to really get to that level. And until we could get to that level of professionalism, that we could see
Yeah, son.
these.
There are some people who feel like once
Mhm.
the party ain't in power, they're on dead. They can't survive. Don't have that is so once the party leave, some of them just leave the island and this and that. I just quit the job because I now work under certain government. This is also these people take this thing, you know. Once the government change, some just quit. Now work under them there. That's madness. Madness, my brethren. They're not brethren. My greatest thing was work within with serving the community. And when some people got on the farmers have on the green hat, green till in a color. They got on the blue hat, blue till in a color. The short. Me not see them things them virgin. What me see is my people. People cannot see beyond these things. So the word democracy is just it don't exist. You see, and people got to understand these things here. It don't exist. What exists is a game between these political parties and tribalism against the poor of psychology, playing games. All of them drink out the same cup. I don't tell you, if these young people mean well, if JD mean well, she will separate herself from her own the party she is, because I know she gets her feelings hurt and will continue to get hurt. You see what I mean? We will have the same way. Don't get the feelings hurt, your son. You understand? Don't really, really hurt, because beyond in the back, these people who found these parties is just putting up other people to represent them. And they're going to be controlled. This is just reality, my virgin. I tell Cleon again feelings hurt, I tell him so. He can tell you by bank, you tell me say true. Whoever pays the piper call the tune. You see? Because if you be a part of a party, especially this kind of party, like you see, and you get whatever situation in the party is supposed to help you with your bills, because the party you represent. You see, they're supposed to come and get you in a problem, whether in court cases and all this different stuff, and apart from the party, and you have to pay X amount of money. Well, you don't pay it out of your pocket. You don't take a loan. Well, who's supposed to pay it? At the party you're representing it. So if these things are not happening, it shows the party not looking out for your interest. They're using you. So why represent something like that? Because if you're part of an institution and you represent them, when stuff happen, they're supposed to cover and help you cover your costs, all these things. And I can guarantee these things that happen. So if the best thing I can tell Miss Keynes, run independent. Run independent. It's the best thing. You understand? Nobody can control you. Can you represent the people? You're not representing the party. Because these people have the constitution and this and that. And only them could break it. You can't break it because them thing it be. You see what I mean? Yeah, son. If you serious
Well,
about
you
anything
see,
when it comes to
Banky,
agriculture, you
at the end of
must
the day,
show.
right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, right? What we can seek to do is awaken the consciousness of the masses, which is what we seek to do, right?
Well, that's
In
what we're
terms
doing,
of
yes, of course.
a person's choice, you know what I mean, of party or being independent and whatever. I guess that's a decision that they would have to make.
Yes.
And
Yes.
likewise, I speak that way because for me personally too, like even at this level, because here is it, you personally is seeking to present yourself as an independent candidate to run,
Yes.
and she may be opting to do the same, but for a political party. And I personally, on my view, would not put myself in the ring because me see me, you know what I mean. So I just see that
Yes.
I mean everybody should have the choice, and
Of
we just
course.
respect I mean people for the position. But I understand where you're coming from, eh? You know what I mean. I understand, but I just see it from because of the fact that you also putting yourself there to be able to seek to make that what I mean judgment
Yeah,
is
but I
a
chose I chose to speak this way because we can see exactly what is in front of us, yes, son. You can see those who running the radios, those who going on kind of thing, is those from ancient time. They never when the unity one and Pam and all them and system on them one. You see people come out to 80 something years old, acting an ambassador. I, I mean, people who barely could walk with a cane. You see what I mean? The sales the people that are on the web virgin. This is so it's obviously, and people see this thing, they speak about it. This you let's say NRP win the election tomorrow. You see
you
people come
see
from when they know
you
who the people
see
will be. That's the reality.
you see Banky, the like sometimes, right, sometimes I guess, like as I continue on this journey they call life, I kind of try to like look at things from some different perspectives sometimes, and like I sometimes try to put myself, sorry, in the position of the people who grew up maybe, let's say, in the 60s, 50s, 70s. Well, I mean, I grew up in the 70s, but I was born in the 70s. I would say more grew up consciously, maybe
80s
in
and
the 80s,
90s.
80s, 90s, yeah, in terms of consciousness. But those people who grew up in that era, right, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, right, their perspective is kind of different because they're coming from a pre-independent era where they were at the point where they even had they never had data that like we now can take for. So from perspective, right? And I guess sometimes that is why at the end of the day, even though we could see through the the
And them can't see.
the can,
And them
the
can't see.
can,
And them can't see. Them
but
can't see through the
some
can.
not because
That's what
of
you're saying?
what. No, but because of what, yeah, because of how, because of the paradigm they're seeing it from. Because while we are looking at, okay, like for me now, we'll be saying, bye, like, why should I be looking up to why should we even have a governor general? Why should we, plead allegiance to King Charles? Why should I even go vote for either one of them when that system that they uphold in something that represent me? No, that might be my view. But then them people are not gonna be like, well, you could say what you want, no, but I never had a right to even vote. I never had a right, So their perception and their view, their paradigm would be totally different from mine. And so from where I sit, different to how they see it. And so sometimes you
I
kind of
got
have
so you're
to
coming from.
understand why they may still be hooked onto these party and would hold on to them for life, even though, as I say, we can see through the can. So that is
Yeah,
part
but
of the
it,
challenge
when
that we
when you
have
sit
now,
around, but
young
when you
people.
sit around these people the same way, yes, son, that's what you see. I don't really. Yes, we're saying may have hold some water, but not much water because when you sit amongst these people and when you hear still start to
Mhm.
talk, once they not get their way, some of them or whatever, you hear them start say all about the same thing and they this and that and one to the things. Don't speak like that. You see what I mean?
But they
Cause
still going to vote.
I get. That's the whole point. You see, that's the whole point. Some, you see, cause I get along with everyone. You see what I mean? And the things that we tell you, right? You can't pick up the things there. Believe me, it's a movie. This is a movie, me tell you, Bridget. Real. That's why you see me on the TV, Bridget. Can me watch a movie all day, every day, real life movie. Me see act out every day. Me on the TV, me watch movie every day. All day, every day, me watch different movie play out, waiting for me. Because when you're looking at the TV, they might act out real life situation, so me deal with the real life situation every day. You see? That's what I tell you. When I go in the cast, obviously it's a horror movie, It's usually like when a hurricane come through and blood on a place, and like Dominic left weather down, coconut trees are bend down. I say no cast today. You see? So I see real movies every day. So I need to watch the TV because you get it every day. Yeah. But
Yeah,
you see,
we got
we'll get you got have the comments on them. And we come back with
we
the
got
music festival
Tambulaiba
and
coming in here say Tambulaiba say bless up Kings, bless up Banky, bless up Tafari. Then we have
come on, greetings, King.
we had
Enough respect.
we had we had Alan Powell saying really got big up who yeah and not Cartel. I guess that was the only part when I was talking about Cartel. Um, Carlisle Paris living in La La Land, Baldhead joking in La La Land. Failures and mediocrity is part of the norm, status quo, and is a shame. Yeah, a lot of things, we really need to wake up to our consciousness. Well, let me follow up on Alan comment. I guess we'll big up Diju performing tonight. I know Diju and
Yes.
Colin Wyatt. Colin Wyatt
Okay.
doing a performance
Nice.
later on this evening. And yeah, I mean, I love Colin Wyatt energy because if it's one thing about the brother, I've never really heard him singing anything like out of the way. And I listened to one or two of his interviews, and that's one of the things that he pointed out, that he could have gone into singing a lot of the slack and dirty lyrics and so on, or dance or ranchy thing and so on. But he said he kind of always think of his mom, and like even growing up, because he started young in the business, and a lot of people might not know. He ain't just know Colin Wyatt ain't just pop up out of nowhere. He was a part of a group called
It's
SP's
money, right?
Finest. Money, yeah,
But we
from
can't.
SP Finest from
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes.
And eventually I don't know what happened with the group, because I could remember back in the day when I used to work on Van Radio and so on. I used to push a lot of these local artists. I actually went to the studio in Sandy Point, and so on, and I used to reach out work, because I used to work with Ashkenaz, and Ashkenaz used to go almost everywhere. So I
Yeah,
used to
man.
link
Yeah,
with a
that's
lot
the
of
boy.
these young artists, and what I mean, Ghetto
Yes.
Shanty Studios and so on, and yeah, man. I mean, so the music thing in SK, and also I was back to Colin Wyatt now, and him opting to focus on more conscious lyrics and lyrics that he said, he didn't want later on that he needs he children family, what I mean, have to buy this is why you ain't sing this, so he just up to keep it on that level. And it's not an easy road to stay conscious and stay positive and really make it out there. We see the struggle around us, people like Kushal Banki, who's still around and still, pushing. We had people like Watusi,
Yeah, man.
who was around us, I mean, who, made a lot of albums and were pushing, but, never really got the kind of, recognition. Rasa Buddha, from
Yes.
Swanston. We had and have these people around. I mean, Ras Aibu,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't really so much around Nevis, so a lot of people might not have known of him and his work and so on. But the fact that as an Nevision, he was out there in Canada representing for a number of years. This is part of our artists.
The
I had
band
people like
from Brown Hill with the Yamahead them, did they bring out any album? What they had name? They had a band with the Yamahead and the
I
man
don't
from Brown
remember.
Hill.
Yeah, I know who you
Nice,
mean. Yeah,
nice
had a
band, good
nice,
band,
nice.
good
Yeah,
musician.
yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember the band, but I know what you mean though. Steven used to play the bass in it
Yes,
at that point. Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Um, um, but yeah, and I was listening to, I think, Tampy the other day. Tampy was on an interview the other day, I think, and he was talking. I think, well, they had I forget what the band had name, but there was a song that he did there, that became a popular reggae, so quote unquote reggae hit. Tampy from Overbar, Tampy Thompson.
Yes, yes,
Um,
I know Tampi, yeah.
what is it? One new day done, Rasta man shall
I think I,
rise,
I think I know
taking
this song.
Babylon and its people all by
Yes,
surprise. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's the tune. Big tune, man. Big tune. And then we had even my brethren, the Ras Bingy, who's still around there. I mean, I remember for a couple of years, Bingy used to bring out the album around Culture Armor time, but Bingy would sing
yes,
roots and culture. There was a point he did one that had a kind of steel pan cadre kind of to suit in, but never got the opportunity because Culturama seemingly also is just focused on calypso and soca. So a lot of the other genres of music sometimes don't get an opportunity or a space to be heard, and that's something that really need to change and shift as we seek to push forward in terms of our culture, the neglect of some aspects of our culture.
well, I know Bingy also used to help me with the album with different artists. Close to one of them culture time we have Ras Bim and some other local acts. Guy he
And a
with
rhythm, yes, yeah,
black
Bill a rhythm,
circles.
yes. Yes.
Yes, with Black Circles studio and stuff like that. So gotta big up Bingy, you know what I'm saying? One of the very, very great musician. He was also part of a band with I know Cavell Swanston and her husband Patrick and a few of them over the years just been a part of a band, I'm not sure. It was a very beautiful band too, kind of, I mean, it's
But
really
but Banky, as we talk about that, right? And this is something that I guess it comes down to the same argument that I'm making, and part of it is because Nevis, in terms of when we look at culture, we only
Yes.
recognize the Calypsonians and the bands and the soca kind of artists because okay, look at Bingy. Bingy is back here and he's
Yes.
seeking to teach his drumming skills to the youth and pass on his talents to the future generation. But I'm like Bingy used to play with the Marleys, them, Junior Gang and
Yes.
Stephen Marley, them and them people. Bingy drum for them people. I mean, so when you look at the kind of talent that we have around us sometimes that ignored to some extent it is not the genre that is and I guess also still come down to the fight that Rastafari would have been getting over all of these years because even Naya them and Black Circles and Black Circle Symphony and so I remember the days when Naya them used to come on the waterfront and so on try to build an energy and so on just to seek to push the energy out there but still
Yes.
the fight continues. The fight continues. Rastafari struggle and Rastafari fight continue. And even now, Rastafari is supposed to be able to get a chance to do certain things, even though they have been given certain credence where they can concern, there's still more to be there.
Yes. Well, last night was the soccer part, and from the feedback, it seemed like it was one of the night that was really, really well attended. Usually, it don't really have that much, even though it have be attended, but this time it was a very, very big crowd, probably over 10,000 people. So it shows that how much people is on the island, in a sense of what crowd, which means tonight crowd will almost be that and half or double. You see what I mean? Because the island might go down a half, 1/8 of an inch sink because a lot of people is on island. You see what I mean? You will see even the place
Yeah,
is
and
busy, leaves and stuff like that.
something I noted last night in terms of the lineup, um, I noted that they put Collision. I think Collision was the second to last performance. The young band from St. Kitts that's making waves in St.
Yes.
Kitts. They came on, I think, just
Yes.
before Tess, and I think that was
Hmm.
a great move in terms of
Yes.
the exposure, giving the band
Of
that
course.
level of exposure. Because I find in the past a lot of times, sometimes they bring on the local acts like early and the a lot of the times, how our people move in the Caribbean sometimes when we come to a show. And St. Kitts Nevis too, we kind of left on the late side. We don't necessarily come for the early acts and so on. And so it was nice to see that they were able to mix it in a kind of way that
Oh,
gave our artists an
yes.
opportunity to be down there in the what you call the headliner. Because if you come on just before the
Yes.
headliner, then you're in a
Yeah.
good position. So I must commend whoever the organizers for that. I kind of think
But also,
line, I saw the lineup for tonight, and I think something
yeah, but
similar.
let me, I wanted to double back and last there was someone was saying because of the young lady too, as Paris was saying the young lady, the dancer is what is Shensia,
Oh,
how you
William
pronounce that?
Shensia.
Yeah, bring out a lot of the female supporters and stuff like that. You see what I mean? Had came out, and so that for because everybody have their fans who want to go and support too. You see what I mean? Like a
Right. So
tonight
I
you have
guess
an yeah Chronicler and Valiant and you see what I mean? Barrington Levy is some serious big acts and tonight show. You see what I mean? So I mean you'll be definitely so everybody going to see at certain time for who they want to see and stuff like that. So that's cool.
yeah, that's pretty good. And I guess I guess it's something that maybe I guess when you look at it based on what Carlisle is saying here too, I guess it makes sense. Where once ago it used to be more like the Thursday was known as like the soca night, and then the Friday would have
Yes.
been the reggae dancehall, what I mean, night. And well, there was a
Hmm.
point when they used to have the gospel kind of section, but I don't think they have that for a long time now. But
No,
it used to be more
no,
like a kind of lovers R&B kind of energy,
Yes.
that the last night. It wasn't so much a hype up, night. But I'm loving the lineup and the giving Dijou, that opportunity to spotlight and Colin Wyatt. I think that is pretty good. Which night is Abena? Abena is on the Saturday.
I'm not sure.
That's
I'm not sure. I can't even say.
I
Katma,
yeah, I know she's
I'm not
supposed to
sure.
perform. Oh, and
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the lineup.
I must also commend the inclusion of the
The string band.
honey. Yes. It it is it speaks volumes in the sense of where the festival have reached, and in the sense of achieving its objective to some extent, because when you get to the point where, okay, the festival and people would feel the energy of being able to see a string band performing on a music fest, it's not something that
So,
it's something that
so
we
you're
want to
telling
see and
me
should see.
the big drum,
Mhm.
the big drum never been with the mask, never been on the music festival stage. We have the maca drum with them, like like you have a break
As an
between the
act,
band
no,
change and
I
you
don't
have,
think so.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know
really,
in terms of, no, sorry. I don't know in terms of band change and so on, like in between, like as an in
yes.
between act. But in terms of as an act,
Even
because this is the difference,
even as I act the same way, even as I act, I
No,
mean, it doesn't matter
I don't
because
recall. I stand to be
yes,
corrected, but I don't recall ever having something like that. So maybe doing this now and getting the reception
yes,
from the public in the sense of with the Honeybee String Band should give the impetus for something like that. Because even also the video with Vibes Cartel when he
because
arrived at the airport and they had a masquerade there to meet him and so on, and he was dancing with the masquerade and so on, should be able to show how
yes,
important and how significant this is, because they use the
what,
masquerade as a part of their tourism marketing
yes,
presentation
son,
as well.
what I've realized, when it comes to our masquerade and our beating of the drum, the closest person, hopefully like us, if you shut your eye and you listen and you watch and not know it, but tell you that is not Navy's masquerade, you not realize it's Anguilla masquerade. Them the
Mhm.
Navy's that as the same type of beat when the man
Well,
beating the drum. Rat-tat-tat, the same thing, different to sing it beating on the drum, sing a drum totally different to Navy's masquerade drum. Anguilla one just have a little fine tuning that go up, but how they hit the drum and we don't hit and the man hit the all part of the drum and them and so forth. But you go tell is Navy Jones playing them is Navy Jones decent people. Them is witty, you can tell it. You can't hide that. The masquerade costume is just like a Navy's one. So those are
well,
Navy's people. You can tell that. Cause
a
most
lot
shot
of
one in like
Navy
a snow.
Jones,
And
a lot of
yes,
Navy Jones are based in Anguilla as well. So a lot of our people would have, when can remember at one point it was Singis Nevis Anguilla. So we would have always had that connection, and so you would have had
yes.
remnants of that moving through. So yeah, that's a good observation. I've never really um, paid much attention or close attention to the
Yes.
Anguilla music like that, but that's a good observation. Give thanks for that.
Because if
Carl
you check it
Paris
out, in the south, go ahead when they come back.
Carl Paris was saying Da Vinci, Dijour, Chronicler, Barrington Levy, Vibes Cartel, Spice, etc. gonna make for a huge crowd tonight. Oh, okay, I guess he's saying
Yes.
all of these artists, performing should make a big crowd tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of big
If you check
names
it out,
and uh-huh.
in this south when you have they have they are the hillbilly band. It's string band, it's string band, It's with music, folk music, if you realize it. The same type of banjo and the rounds, same thing is with
Right, right.
music. They take it, you see? Same thing, they playing the same thing. But then when ours more fine tuned because it's original. You see what I mean? So you can actually understand it in a sense that, but they just mix it up in their kind of in their own way. But is it if you check, it's everything. This the moonshine, we are the hammer the same way, the same thing. These are the cultures these people have. If we analyze these things, this making and all this different stuff. But it's a good thing. What I was hoping, I'm not sure if it's just the honeybees, if it's them from Raleigh alone, or they would make like a dream team and mix up the different string bands them and have some of the best players. So you have like a collaboration. So you're promoting string band and not just one particular. When you have others, like you put like you have Frank and them, and you bring those guys together as a team, practice together, and hit. Well, that is how I would have loved to see it, in a sense like that. You see what I mean? Which would have represented, yeah, because Frank then got their own touch in the car. I think he's good at what he does. He got a distinct voice, and along with the other team, everybody is different, But I was just hoping it would have been
Well,
something like
maybe
that.
remember the festival continues, so maybe next year they might be able to
Yes.
use another street man. So, Johnny Daniel here saying, "I've never seen Anguilla's Masquerades perform, but looking forward to see it now to compare." So, I guess based on your comment,
Yes.
people
Yeah,
are
man.
listening and they're thinking, well, maybe it is something that they should pay attention to a little bit more. Me myself too, because I think Anguilla is, based on what I am hearing, because I think I heard somebody on one of the radio stations yesterday talking about their festivals. So I think they should be having something
Yes.
around cultural time as well. And
Mm-hmm.
their thing
Yes.
seemingly is going to be a combination, because seemingly when they do have their festival, it is a combination of what we do in terms of the street festival, but they, because of the fact that Anguilla is a huge boating community, it is combined a lot with a lot of boat racing activities and so on. So it
Nice.
is like
Nice.
from what I gather, it is like a kind of um
Regatta.
beach party, a big beach party, so like while the
Yes.
boat racing going on, the other things going on, you could jam, you could dance, you could party,
Of
you play some
course.
volleyball, you know what I mean? So it's like you come out in
Yes.
your bathing suit and you party, you jam. So good energy. And I guess it is something that I eventually would love to experience, because it's always good to have a feel of the different festivals around the region, and see how they do things and how it's different, and learn about a little bit about the different cultures. So that's a good energy.
Well, yes, and one of the things that I want to see also is this the school and the school garden. They were forward in this time. We really need to put some effort. Department himself and even the committee to get more involved with the school. They need to, because they have a kitchen, and they need to be cutting on the food bill. So I'd like to see some. Can you have no extension staff there at the department? You see what I mean? It's just that
Banky,
there could be place.
Banky,
Yes.
we setting up we consultancy, right? We're gonna present a project. We're gonna set up a project, right? And we're gonna present it to the government, right? In relation to that aspect
I
of it,
tell you,
in
I
terms of
tell
the
you,
school.
your blood hot
I'm coming.
ear.
Listen, hear me now, hear me. And this is how we're gonna do it, Banky. So that way now,
You don't know
right?
how you deal with it,
That way. Hold on,
You
no
don't know how
man.
you
Hold
deal with it.
on.
Me
Hold
know me
on.
deal with it.
We're gonna do it. We're
Yes.
gonna do it. We
Okay.
present it, and then if we don't get any feedback, then when we come back here now, then we will have a reason to talk, because we'll be able to say, "No, hey, look, we ain't just we see this be done. We have presented the project, and we are being denied. We have an argument. If not, then they can't say ignore the noise. So this is why I'm saying we're gonna do these things. I don't want to talk about it. Let's do it. Let's propose it, because we have the solutions. And we know
That's
what
done.
needs to be done, right? Let's show them
I
that we could
don't
do
give the
it.
minister a proposal. I don't give the minister a proposal already. He don't ask. I don't give him a proposal already. So we're talking. What are you really saying? We're talking. I don't. I don't have a proposal already. I don't sit in front of his face and tell him. So you're not letting him know. These guys rather let the end of this the second quarter is this week. Gonna start the third quarter. So he went into the house and willingly lied, manfully lied, because he know he ain't gonna do it. In the department, they know about the department, shame, 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 shame. And the minister just happily I wonder if the minister on this stage was performing tonight, dancing up and having a good time while we're here talking about agriculture.
I
He
think it was
okay.
last night. I think it was last night.
Well, I'm just saying, you see what I mean? But that's just the whole point. Them guys not care. So that's why I'm asking the premier, because the minister handling on the whole cabinet with him, 'cause all them along with this, 'cause all them benefited. But Mr. Jeffers, why aren't you accepting this? This is your brainchild, This is what you wanted. So now I set it. So how don't they do all the campaigning and taking the pictures and this and that? How kind of drone shots? Yes, and movie style, movie thing. You understand? You're ready to laugh. And now everything gone to the dogs. You cannot. So even those who support, who was behind the project when they're making the party look good. So now the party mashed it up. They can't speak on it. But if the universe ain't gonna accept these things, You see? So I want to see the people of Hanley's Road, the traffic going on there now. All the traffic used to go down to Hanley's Road, and the little shops down there will benefit and stuff like that at the same time, ain't it? You see? All in Gingerland Market Shop, Best
Banky,
Buy, everybody get money making all these different things.
Banky, we are going to make this happen. Okay?
Who is we? You keep with this we
Banky,
thing, The
Banky
minister
and
don't have a
Yaston.
proposal. They
Hold
don't
on,
have
no,
no
me
interest,
talking
me
about a
virgin.
minister. Me talking about a
But who
minister. I'm telling
you
you,
gonna give?
me and you gonna make it happen.
Yeah, so how?
We ain't talking about the project, but we're gonna make things happen for agriculture in Nevis. We're gonna work with the farmers, the other farmers who are there, and we're gonna do our project and we're gonna make it happen. That's what I'm saying. If they
So
give
what's
us
the
the
purpose of
support,
the minister job?
better.
So what is the purpose of the minister job? Where is the minister then? Well, give up the portfolio. That's what I'm saying. That's what the farmers them say, The people need to take away his portfolio. So we take a try portfolio and give them library, go by the library and do education, because you feel under your own, you understand? As a technician, as a civil, you understand, a civil engineer, you feel like that. No. So go in the library and do the education. Just all they need to do, Minister of Agriculture. Send them some way, whatever solid waste, or like Kevin said, solid waste, because health is very important. So I wouldn't know where to send him. I really would not know where to send him. Can you really the same thing? I can't know where to send him. He should not be in government. That's the first thing. He have no interest. Yes, sir. When I work around people, I know lazy people, my virgin. I know lazy people, who have no interest. I know that. You see? So we have a big task, and the evidence. If you're gonna see, you must have a budget that will be tangible, where farmers and agro-processors and fisher folks can have access to funding. They are not the minister are not advocating for funding for farmers and fisher folks. Right now, you're fighting for now a poultry industry. From my understanding, they get some whatever. I mean, a building cost over $1 million plus. Well, I head yet now again, car you dominate now a building cost more than you expect again. How you get on the bill. You see what I mean? You see the poultry project, geothermal, Indian Castle Phase 2. Me know about them thing there. You got to convince me. You see, you can't be feeling I want 100 chances, A one chance me give, man. Me not gonna let you chance because it's too much money involved. So you get one chance to get it right. Not to waste millions of dollars of taxpayers' money and want to spend more millions and millions and you still fail. No. Once this is your profession, we want to build a house, and when the house fall along, you take on blocks all the time. You go up and kind of put in a steel. No, that make no sense. You see what I mean? That make no sense. You do things right.
Man, how you buy the machine and then figure out the house to put it in?
What do you mean?
If you're doing a project, so some of these things are just for sure to say that you're doing something, a photo up to give a story, to make it appear as if you're doing something. Banky, this year tells me something totally different.
Kilowatt.
As the only food self-sufficient country in the world.
That came from policy, investment, programs, and the hard work of our farmers. But we're taking it to the next level. Now we're investing in facilities for sustainable and resilient food production, not only for the local market, but targeting our regional and international market, building the regional food hub, investing in the regional food hub, and creating the business ecosystem to support food production for Guyana, the region, and the world. But how do we make this interesting? How do we make it an enterprise through which young people are involved, through which young people feel excited about food production, excited about agriculture? And this is what these magnificent facilities are. The combined food facilities here in Region 2 is replicated in Region 10, is replicated in Region 5, and every other region across our country. This is the largest investment in hydroponics agriculture in the entire region. The entire region. We're talking about CELAC region. And this is what these facilities will be doing. They'll be targeting a high-value crop to reduce our import bill and to ensure that we have sustainable and resilient agriculture. This is state-of-the-art facilities that will have extractor fans, temperature control, automated watering system, automated agrochemical application. Yeah, that's what serious business is all about. That's when a man is serious about agriculture. This is a true demonstration of, you know what I mean, what we should be seeing in our part if we're really serious about the kind of level of
Yeah, but
agro development that we need.
But you got to remember, on Burnham, when he was in there, he told you want to grow where you want to eat. You want beer, you want to make your own beer. You want clothes, you want to make your own clothes. So Burnham had set it, and from since then, he continue. Guyana not just a develop agriculture sector. Years they've been developing the products and stuff like that. You see what I mean? So at this point, they keep investing because they're producing sugar, still a produce rice. And we rice we never use a Guyana come from. The sugar we got a Guyana come from. That's an agricultural state. That's where they can prove and put. And now they got oil. They got so much natural resources, lumber. Let us talk. The coconut trees that Indian cast they came from Guyana. When I was in Indonesia, Guyana is in the Caribbean. Nobody got much coconut than Guyana. This is how serious these people are. When it comes to passion fruit, they got so much passion fruit up there. They're ready to ship out passion fruit. Done frozen, done pulp, anything they want it. And machines, those Indonesians looking about for the passion fruit area, especially over in Suriname. This is all these people serious with this thing. They got passion fruit orchard. They can ship out passion fruit by any amount. You see what I mean? These are people I met who manage these places and stuff like that over in what do you call it? Suriname. Yes. Because they represent for Suriname. They go a lot of, you understand, passion fruit orchard and stuff. So they have any amount of orchard you can get ordered. So it's about networking. But we too can do the same thing here too, your son. You see? Because that's what Indian Casa had a lot of passion fruit set up. Because my thing was out of 10 acres of passion fruit. These things can be done here too, but you don't have the agriculture take resources. Anybody who speak within the agriculture sector, fisher folk, agro processors, those into crop, when you're going to do hydroponic system, field planting, you need money, my virgin. You need upstart money. You have to clean land, you have to fence land. You got to build a greenhouse. Everything is money. But you don't have access to these things. Where do I get money? The poultry thing.
Really want the poultry thing. I'm gonna get the money.
The poultry thing that the minister still talking about. There's no funding in place for people to access. It means you gotta go put up your own land and get the collateral to invest. There are people who already have a whole machine, over 30,000 US done spent by a whole machine for 2 years now. You see what I mean? Sitting down because they didn't fulfill by going through with the project. So 2 years later, you're still talking about a project. Not even the ministry should have the confidence about this project here. It's just talk. Where are the lands, yes, son? We talk things to debt. We just let it talk.
Exactly. Why do we allow it to just be talk when at the end of the day it is costing us, the taxpayers? Because, for example, in that case where the poultry production is concerned, I am understanding that at this point they are paying rent for storage for that equipment that they bought. So, which means we, the taxpayers, every month is paying
But that
for a
normal thing, your
machine
son,
that is
will
sitting
government the
down.
parent for the normal thing. Will the parent for the
So
normal
you
thing.
see, you hear what you just said? It's a normal
Wow.
thing. So then, if these things continue to be the
Will government
norm,
like a building,
then
will
do
government
you?
like a building and
So
a
do you?
rent, the Mondo Chuck down. It's alleged that this stand at the
So
Mondo Chuck, they will pay rent, $30,000 a month, or $20,000 a month for the
so
stands at
if
the Mondo Chuck.
because
A normal
if this is
thing,
the norm, then
yeah.
how do you expect it to change? If you all
But when the
allow it to
government
be the
offices
norm, and
them
this
there,
is what I'm saying.
you
So
don't
why
know.
aren't people agitating?
What do you
If these
mean?
things
Agitate
continue to
for
be the
what?
norm, then yeah, man,
Nothing
since we
wrong.
have these conversations, then
When for some people nothing wrong, but for some there's some wrong, so we have to have the conversation. You see what I mean? Because you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time because there are those that you're not fool. So that's why we have to speak like this.
but see what
But
I'm
there are
saying.
those
If
who just
these things,
squinge.
yeah, because here's the
Just
thing: if some of us are going to talk, we're gonna see it, and we know it's a problem, but we're still gonna just hush it down and stay in a corner and don't speak out and don't say anything. Then, as we are saying, it has now become like it's a norm. So if you are supposed to be holding these people accountable, if they're supposed to come and consult with you, and you're not doing that, and you're not allowing, and you're not making them come consult with you, then they consider it as in norm, and we're accustomed to not tell them nothing. We could just go and do what we got to do because we ain't gonna tell them nothing. So it become the norm. But if you
because
start to talk,
there's no
hey, no,
accountability,
look,
my virgin. There's no
well, that's what I'm saying.
accountability.
So until
You
we
see, that
start
is the
holding them
issue.
accountable, but right now when you do, they say ignore the noise, and they find somewhere trying to speak down to you or try to belittle you or say that you are part of the opposition. Are you supporting the opposition party? And that's what these are some of the things that they seek to do to try to make you look like you are the problem. When in reality, all you are seeking to do is play your part as being a responsible citizen by holding the people who you elect accountable. And because of how we have allowed them to function as if no accountability is the norm, that's why when you do try to hold them accountable, you seem abnormal to those who have allowed it to seem like it's a norm to just
But yeah,
don't say nothing, don't speak out,
waiting.
don't ask
People
questions.
not people not driving on Indian castle where they're here for. There are people on the island and they're driving on Indian castle go look for the archer. Do you think they're going on there? What do you mean? And waiting, when they
Okay,
come for
but
culture, when they're
yeah,
going on there,
but
they're going to look. People got,
how many of them are going to take a video and post up and ask, well, what going on here? And minister, well, no, you are failure. How many of them going to do that?
I can't answer the question there. You see what I
Okay, you
mean?
see, so that's what I'm saying.
I can't,
Because
I can't
this
speak for
thing,
people.
this thing, this thing is still being played like a game, because and that is why the politicians, that's why they continue to behave the way they behave. If I don't know this is how many people gonna function, and we could just do that and then fix up a
Yeah,
road
that is
crossing
fine in your
because
son. But what you
cultural
have to
come and fix up
understand,
and make sure the tongue look good.
this
Mhm.
is 40 acres of food, over 3,000 plus coconut trees. You don't have things are dead. So when you have such a vast area of food, planted fruit trees and stuff like that, and been neglected, virgin, when some are more struggling and some are fight
And Banky,
and some done dead. You can't avoid this. You can't turn back this and say this was never existed. Was not successful, because you took a successful project and manfully mash it up. So how you gonna come back and explain this? What they gonna
you have
say?
you have stopped
What
working
can they
there for
say?
about 2 years. You have stopped
Not two
working there
years
for
yet.
about 2 years. Okay,
December gonna make 2 years, a
almost.
year and a half.
Okay, a year and a half. What has been
Yes.
said since you stopped?
Well,
Who
I
have
can't
said
say
anything?
nothing. Nobody but
So,
me.
no,
We
no, no,
can't say
no,
nothing.
no, 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 no. No, homie, they can't say nothing.
What they gonna say?
Just like how you see. Just how you see it and other people see it too. How come it's not an issue? That's what I'm saying. How come it is not an issue for other people that millions of dollars were spent on a project and the project is there, not doing anything, and it was such a big thing for people? How come nobody else raising the alarm and it is not a topic?
Because thousands of people go down there, so the whole community go down there, you know. When function was when I was down there, you know. So it's not like I don't know that and they don't know that. The whole community, who you can think of from saying goes down there. You see? So I know.
You know, Banky,
So when this
I
thing
usually
happened, yes.
I usually tell that this is what the issue is, you know. The way we look at food security and the way we look at food sovereignty, because maybe it's that too. We are thinking food sovereignty, while some are just thinking food security. And their mindset and concept of food security is as long as the boats come in and the supermarkets are filled, there's not a food security issue.
Oh really?
And that is where we are. Yes,
Oh really?
the only
Okay.
time there's a food security issue is if let this war continue and break out worse, and the boats them can't reach down here and tropical can't reach. That is when there's a food security. Other than that, and the boat they go come every week, and the Dominica boat they come, and the St. Vincent boat they come, we don't have a food security problem.
So therefore, they shouldn't come and say that 2030 is the next deadline. Stop like just said it not gonna happen. Just so that's what need to come and can raise the resources you're gonna put to plan in our plan for it before the 2025. You know, get nothing had nothing involved. You're gonna get involved now for 2025 for 2030. But how you want me
And
who you're convincing?
remember is your $200 million spending, eh? None coming out of the pocket, eh? So how much of money they're spending on imports is not a problem to them because it's not coming out of their pockets. It's coming out of the taxpayers, and is you are feeling it too. So when they have to import it and you'll have to pay these extra taxes and extra duty and have to pay all 20 something dollars for a pound of strawberry that costs 89 cents in the US a pound, right? Ain't no problem. You understand? Because you are feeling it, and they don't care. They don't care. If they got to buy sweet potato, if sweet potato reach up to $15 a pound, as far as they're concerned, you are working and you are getting paid. So deal with it. The Dominica boat gonna bring it, and the boat coming in from America are gonna bring it, or wherever the boat coming from. We don't have a food security problem. If they are not coming, then you have a food security problem.
Yeah, but you know the food coming in the country is comparing to the food that is grown here. Most of it, the standard can't match up. You see what I mean?
They
We know that.
don't care. They don't care.
Of course.
They will get
Well,
it.
if you're not putting
They
the
will get food
resources
in
there,
the
well,
pot.
of course. Well, of course, we know
We
that.
know
If
that, and we
use,
know that. We know that, and we know that
yes,
is part of why we have these non-communicable diseases so prevalent, and that is why people get in all of these hypertension and diabetes and all. It comes down to the diet, and the better the food that you're
yes,
eating, the more healthy it is, the more chemical free it is, the better it is for you, and the fresher you get it, the better it is for you too. Because when you're getting food, most of these food are coming from some of these places. Sometimes it's 3 weeks and 6 weeks and so before you get to you. And we know from an agricultural perspective, every minute the fruit or the veggie is taken from the ground or from the plant, it start losing its antibacterial antibodies and anti um, bodies capacity, start losing its nutritional value. Every, so which means if you get it, if you can go to your garden and then just go to why your food will be more nutritious and healthy for you. Two lettuce that was picked 2 weeks ago in America and then had to step on a boat another 2 weeks to get here. Um, and by the time you get it, a lot of all of these um, antibiotic that word keep evading me. But anyway, those things that are needed in the initial part of the nutritional stage are missing every minute that that plant is separated from its parent or from the ground. So these are things that we really have to be paying a little bit more attention to as a people.
Yes, yes, and coming up after tomorrow, then you have the last night of the music festival, and then Sunday, you have the White Sand continue, the Colon continue at Carambola. But then starting next week, Thursday, the 4th of July, is the opening of the Mango and Food Festival here in Nevis. And then the Friday, then you have the part where you have stoning of mangoes, the mixologist competition, usually have some game, fun game, tug of wars and stuff like that. They'll be at your Brent at Caseby by my cousin Rodney place right there, nursery. Where I will be there displaying some different varieties of mangoes. I already have over 30 varieties and stuff like that. Where we you see some very large mangoes, some very small mangoes, medium mangoes, just a lot of varieties of mango. We have a large varieties of mangoes on the island. We just like fruits, usually I'll mix in some fruits at the same time for this because a lot of people will be on the island. Some would never see certain things before and stuff like that. So definitely look out for my look for me where you get the mango tasting and stuff like that, and where you can get maybe one or two fruits at the same time to sample. And then that also can, then the Saturday will have be a bar crawl where they go on to, then after they leave there, kind of event will be from 1 o'clock to like 6 o'clock where they'll go to down on the beach around the bars, and then the Saturday they go on the road to the villages and stop by the shops and park up and do some fun thing there and support the bars and get food and stuff like that. And then the Sunday is the main event. We'll have a chef, a vegan chef at this time for the first time, which is good. And then I'll be still there. We're displaying the mangoes and stuff like that, and you get a tasting. So that is something, and educating the type of mangoes, the varieties, some those that have it good for children, and good for culinary food salads, good for smoothies and pulping and all this different stuff, and the origin of some of them. But there's so much mangoes on the island, some of them is still unknown. You see what I mean? But there's many varieties on the island, many varieties. We have a lot of large mangoes, massive. We're a couple of pounds where it's amazing that we have such a small island. And what people don't realize, there are people who do follow mangoes throughout the world. You see what I mean? I think Jamaica probably have a mango festival in Thailand, but not much places does that. So we are very special to have so much varieties of mangoes because we're in a perfect environment where it's conducive to grow many different type of fruit trees also. So and that it's a beautiful thing. So definitely that is something I just wanted to put out there. So you'll just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So where they have to accommodate more vendors and stuff like that, and then they even have an early line which start from 11. So by 10:30, 11:30, I'll done be setting up. So until so I'm always there at early up. So when people do come in, at least they can be entered. I can engage them and where they just know how I walk around. And if everything is not ready for the main event, people, all the vendors have their stalls set up and stuff like that.
Well, give thanks, and I must tip my hats to Mr. Jones, Fian Jones. Yeah, I think he's doing
Yes,
a phenomenal job in terms of the marketing and promotion and so on. The thing is, when our people do good, I'm a kind of person,
yes.
I am going to give you your credit and your credence. And, if you seem lucky, what I mean, I will also come and criticize you. And it is what it is. And the criticism, a lot of us, we sometimes have to learn to deal with it, especially when you're in public positions and so on. You just need to take it with a grain of salt
Yes.
and look at it and say, okay, maybe it's something I might not have been looking at it that way. But let me try to see how I could address this, look at it or take it from, a different perspective and see if I could approach it differently. But that's what it is at the end
But
of the day. And I
also,
must give thanks, as I said, to
they were
Fian
saying
and his team and his
they
crew
yes, there's going to be a panel
for
discussion also on the Friday about on mangoes and stuff like that. So I'll also be a part of that panel discussion where I can also, what I mean, give some history and some of the varieties that I'll have display. And so I know they will be very amazed by some of the mangoes that I have, some very large mangoes.
Yeah, that's wonderful to that Fian is able to
Okay.
convince you to be
I
so
guess I,
active in
I
the
guess
promotion this
I
evening,
guess
you know?
I can let me get a minute and show you how one or two mangoes and the size that we have for those who probably looking and they get sneak preview. They'll be the first, so engage them till they come back. They be
Yeah,
exclusively for the first time.
yeah, do that. Yeah, and so yeah, I must give thanks to Fian and his team for doing a wonderful job in terms of promoting the Mango Festival. And also, I saw some pictures earlier on today of the bread nut affair and Nevis, and I am feeling very bad that I am not a Nevis, to be honest with you. When I look at some of those pictures, I think I shared it on my Facebook page. So for those of you who follow me on Facebook, I guess you could go and check out some of the pictures earlier on today at the the Bread Nut Affair and Nevis, organized by the Department of Community Development. And we would have had Denicia Smith on with us on Tuesday promoting the event and so on. And seemingly it was um, very much organized. I'm seeing a lot of interesting pastries and bread and cake, and I'm seeing something that look like they have a bowl of bread nut soup. I don't know if it's goat water or some, but it look like you have some kind of meat in there. But I'm seeing some kind of muffins and um, some looking like croissants and yeah, a lot of different interesting. Look like you have some bakes or balls. This would be bread nut balls or something like that. In the pictures, they're not listed in terms of the names. So at least if they were, they are not here in the picture. So I can't really say what they are. I'm just kind of seeking to give a description based on some of the things that I'm seeing. And just to note that some of these things are created from bread nut, it is quite interesting and it gives a lot of ideas for the future development of various crops, bringing back or taking certain crops very seriously. So with these kind of events, as simple as it may seem, I am very grateful for the promotion of events like these, because eventually then we could get more serious with bread nut and develop some very unique bread nut products that we could then eventually be selling globally. And it would mean if we need more bread nut, then it would mean that somebody or some persons would have to get into some serious bread nut orchards or get to do some serious bread nut farming and so on. So you'll find crops as these festivals grow and expand, crops that we might not have taken seriously or we might just have seen growing in the wild and so on. We would have to start to really cultivate them and start to go them and see the business of growing some of these crops on a larger scale. So I look forward to more events like these in more communities. And I look forward to the people supporting these activities. So for those of you who went out and support the Bread Not a Fear, give thanks, and I look forward to more pictures. And I hope they would have had videos and other things to share with people and so on, and so that the next event could be a bigger and better event. So Banky, yes, you're back with the mangoes.
Well, a few. I just have a few varieties here, just from the smallest size. One of my favorite, Yason. I'm not sure if those are listening and watching. This is the teeny mango. This mango
But
is a
that
smaller
look
version
big.
of the long. The teeny mango is a small mango. It may look big. You see between two finger. It may look big. You
But that
see
look big for a
it.
teeny mango. The teeny mango that I see
Well,
the
but
mango,
no,
like you should have been small. That's why I said that
no.
look big. That must be
This is a
maybe the
CD.
water you tree,
You
man.
see,
Oh, that's a CD.
well, but
Okay, yeah, that's it.
this is a CD now. But the teeny, but my
Yeah.
teeny them don't come a little bigger, but they have some still really small. But this is small. This is average size.
Okay.
Okay, this is a small
Okay.
mango, the CD, which are very nice mango, the teeny, but they're having a bit more fleshy. But the teeny
Yes.
having more fiber. You see what I mean? This having less fiber. Very nice,
That's
smooth
more juice. Yeah. Yeah.
texture.
That's more.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have this one is over. You find this over in Castle area. You understand what I call it? The turkey mango. You're supposed to know this one in the gut. By Nisbet going up in the gut, the
Hmm.
big broad gut. These are in the gut
Yeah.
side there. So I'll be all up and down. I'll be all over up and down Nevis here and there some, and then I'll have to purchase some from some homeowners because you'll find so many people property that you have to purchase some. So I mean, I've been looking mango farm since the last couple of days because I have to put up to ripe with what I have and so forth. And then this, I'm not sure if you know this one, if I'm testing the knowledge.
The God blood? That's the God blood?
You know what's going on, man. Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, man.
And point. Yes, I will agree. Okay. Yes. I'm not sure if you know this one here. This is a larger one. One of my favorite also.
That's the long mango?
No, this is not a long mango. Look at the shape. You see how big this one be? And this is still small, but it's big. This is the bull tone.
Oh, okay.
The bull tone. All right. And then you know the favorite for Nivision, the favorite. Huh?
Where's the one to be? The one to be?
The favorite for Nivision when the wild mango, the favorite.
Amipali.
All right. Okay, good. And then this one is a large mango also. It's a very pretty mango. It's ripe up. No, it's not. This is a big mango, but as I say, it's just medium size right now, but I have much bigger than this. But just so it's just like comparing this along with you see how small it be?
Right.
With the CD, and if you put the thing next to it, you still see how small it is.
Yeah.
So this is a Stevens. You don't have in much fiber. It's just nice when wouldn't stick in your teeth. You would do anything like that, and also good for children, for smoothies and stuff like that. Very beautiful mango when it ripe up. Then one of my favorite. Well, you don't hear me say one of my favorite can be like mango, eh? So it's having a lot of favorites. This one, pretty beautiful mango. You know this one? No, it looks warm, but it's not. No. This is way bigger than a warm, but this is a big mango too. This is the Graham.
Okay.
You know that one? You have a piney flavor. I'm like pineapple flavor, very distinct. Once you cut it, the aroma scent up the room. Very beautiful aroma.
Okay,
and love it.
I know what you mean. Yes.
Yes. Then this one here is a big man, good size, medium size, but this is Glen.
Yeah, you cheat. I see the name, because the name there on it, so you cheat that one there.
Okay. Well, even if you see, I mark some of them, you know what I mean? Right. This one, if you see, you still wouldn't know what it is, so you could guess it if you want to. But this also is a very beautiful mango. The flavor is nice. You'll enjoy this one. It's smooth, don't have much fiber either. Mm-hmm. This one is the curry. You call this one the curry.
Okay.
Yes. I see. Okay, right now.
What I want to be?
You still big?
You got the big bag. What I want to be?
This is the Malika.
Bye. That big bag. I got to get a seed. You got to save a seed of that for me, bye.
Massive, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, man. Okay, and this is a big man, and this is massive, and this is big. I put this next to this. Make it look like a baby.
I tell you, like a baby, yeah, man. Yeah,
massive mango be. So these are some of the varieties that I'll be displaying and so forth, along with a lot more graph, Julie mango. You have Susu, you have Valencia, you have ice cream. Yeah, man, you have ice cream, you have Vonkai Mai, you have Bombay.
Nevis for Mango Fest 2025. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss getting an opportunity to taste a lot of these different mangoes, sample these mangoes, and meet Ras Shabazz Banky King and the team at the Mango Fest. Theon Jones and your crew, enough respect. Banky, we done gone over the 2 hour.
I see someone was saying they need mangoes up. It's just the logistics and get the mangoes to the US and stuff like that. Free from flight. But I mean, we have a lot of mangoes around here. I have 30 mango trees at the farm. Our 9 Amipali mango tree, over 6 grafted, regular pali, seedy, teeny, long mango, just a lot of varieties, and I still planting mangoes. So
And
and all of them, most of them are loaded with
remember,
mangoes.
and remember, I tell you, my mother said you need to come and get some because monkeys don't come
Well,
and get them before you. So you need to,
yes,
yeah, if you get a figure
I'll
out.
pass up about Sunday, so I'll get around because I want a jackfruit also to display, one or two to display on the table. Because I like to incorporate some different fruits on the table, so even those who come not
Right,
just looking
and
at
you should be
mangoes,
able to
but to
get
see
some
some
wax
other
apples. You
fruits.
should be able to get some wax apples as well.
Well, I load them with wax apple. Wax apple is so plentiful. I've brought down my trees and them right now. They give me work, you know.
Where you like a
Shit,
then?
okay, windy
That's
right
what's going
now.
on up
Okay, it's
there.
windy. It's
Right,
windy, so the
right.
trees them low down, they're just breaking off, like fooling themselves. But I appreciate you definitely come out and support the mango festival. But Daniel asked about the mangoes. One things can be worked out, and this is thing I was talking about the logistic with working out with the FDA to get we start shipping. What I'm gonna get involved in that Yason is get a juice and get into the mango pulping. Cause I don't like to see things waste. We can juice most of my stuff when they're plentiful and freeze them, whether it's the carambola, the wax apple, mangoes, coconut, get coconut. The machine can do all the same thing. So, guys, appreciate you guys sticking with us and hope you guys enjoy the show as usual. And thanks for your comment. Show couldn't be anything without you and your comment and stuff like that. So, really appreciate that. Definitely looking forward for next week Tuesday. We'll come back on the topics, and then the following Friday we continue back with everything agriculture. Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Next week Tuesday, be sure to log in. We got an exclusive interview with Chief Ibu Chief out of Africa, Nigeria, and we're gonna be learning a little bit about our Ibu culture and the connection of Ibu to the Caribbean and all that. So I look forward to that, to learning a bit more. So I'm hoping that you do too. So see you guys next week Tuesday and next week Friday for another edition of Everything Agriculture. Enough love, everybody, guidance and detection. Everybody have a safe music festival, have a safe Mango Fest, have a safe Culturama. And to those who are grieving the loss of, the young lady, I really want to send some condolences to the family and all who are, going through this at this time. Even though it's a festive time, I want you to take some time out and, share some sympathy and empathy and love with the family. So, Banky, enough love, everybody, guidance, that big mango as we seal up, as we wrap up. Enough respect to the Real Entertainment team. Enough love, everybody, guidance.
It's everything agriculture. Hey, this is my